Morning guys, Dan Williams here from Range of Motion and Range of Motion Business Mentoring. Welcome to this live webinar on how to acquire leads through your website. What I'll do, I know most of you will be watching this on delay, so we'll give a minute or so for those who are joining live. Hi Stephen, thanks for joining us. Hey Nerese. I'll give a minute or so for those who are not joining live to jump aboard. Hey Whitney, thank you for joining us. In the meantime, guys, let me talk you through just a brief overview of what we will be covering. What I'll do, I'll post some time signatures. Hi Sam, thanks for joining us. I'll post some time signatures in the description of this video, guys, once I do put the replay up, so you can jump to anything that may be of interest to you, so you don't have to hear me talking for half an hour about websites if you already know some of this content. The aim of today, I want to basically take you through what your website should be for in a pretty social media dominated world, why your website is still very important, some search engine optimization stuff, how to get your website appearing on Google. Hi Ryan, thank you for joining us. I want to talk also about how to build a site. So how to basically go from not having any sort of online presence in terms of a website through to having a functioning site which is going to be delivering you clients. We'll talk about the structure of the site, so how to actually put it together, what you should be seeing as soon as the page loads, some elements that you absolutely need to have. And we will talk a little bit about some Google ads as well, and also just mention Facebook ads in terms of things like the Facebook pixel. So let's kick this off, guys. Again, thank you all for joining us. Please do post any questions or comments as we go through this webinar below if you are watching this on delay. Hi Freda, thanks for joining us. If you are watching this on delay, guys, again, please feel free to comment below. If there's anything I talk about that I gloss over you'd like some more information on, please do comment and I'll send you some links to stuff that will hopefully be of some use to you guys. So, Websites in particular for fitness professionals, of course, we're talking about at the moment. There are three main purposes of your website. The first thing, and this is probably what is of most interest to a lot of people, is to acquire leads. You're trying to get a lead that you can then contact and get into your facility, to your service, to your online program, whatever it may be. First purpose, to acquire a lead. Hi Danny, thank you for joining us. The second is to build a reputation. So a website will be a place where you can keep a lot of your content, a lot of your resources that you make available to your own clients and to your potential clients as well. It allows you to sit your blogs or your videos, any content you create. It's a platform to allow yourself to build a reputation, for you to position yourself as an expert in the industry, an expert particularly at solving the problems of your avatars. Because if you can show that you can solve the problems of your potential clients, you will become the go-to person. And finally, to activate the Facebook pixel. Now that will be old news to some of you, but for some you won't be familiar with how the Facebook pixel works. So I am going to discuss that in a little bit more detail as we go through this webinar today. But basically the Facebook pixel will allow you to market to people who have visited your website on Facebook. So you may get someone who arrives at your website through a different source, and you're then able to show them some advertising through Facebook. So you're attacking them through a couple of different avenues. Hi Shane, thank you for joining us. Hey Ange, thanks for tuning in. So let's talk about SEO, search engine optimization. So search engine is Google basically. Optimization is a way for Google to send more people to your website. When people jump on Google and search for Jim Osborne Park, they are going to be able to find you. Someone jumps on your website and searches for gym for people who don't like gyms, they're going to be able to find you. Someone jumps on Google and searches for exercise to improve my netball performance, they will be able to find you. So optimizing your ability to show up on someone's Google search. This is something that people try and game, they try and cheat or beat the system. It doesn't work. It sort of did in the early 2000s, but now that all the Google algorithms have become much more sophisticated, doesn't necessarily work anymore. Hey Belinda, thank you for tuning in. So how do we rank highly on Google? It's very simple. You give your clients, you give your potential clients, your avatar, the information they want. It's that simple. The days of hiding names of adjoining suburbs in text in the footer of your website are over. Google is onto that and has been for a decade plus. What I'd like to do, guys, is just read you something that has been put out by Google. These are their recommendations, and all the courses I've done in this, all the education I've done on this summarizes and puts a bow on it quite neatly. So this is the direct advice from Google. Creating compelling and useful content will likely influence your website more than any other factor. Optimize content for your users, not for search engines. So this is one of these times when if you try to make your website more Google friendly by putting the words personal trainer in your website 1,000 times in every blog you write, by doing this, you're actually going to reduce the optimization of your search. So the big thing to do here is identify your avatar, who it is you want to help. If you want some assistance with that, let me know and I'll send you through some resources. Identify your avatar, identify their pain points, and create content which is going to help to solve those pain points, or try and position yourself to offer a service or a product which is going to solve those pain points. If you do that, make it easy for the consumer, you are going to rank highly on Google. Let's talk about how to actually build a website. So you have no current online web presence and you want an online web presence. What do? This can get pretty detailed and pretty intricate here. I'm going to sort of gloss over some of this. Hey Farley, thanks for joining us. I'm going to gloss over some of this because we could spend an entire semester working on any one of these bullet points that I'm about to run you through. Hey Phoebes, thanks for tuning in. So let's sort of summarize this. If any of these topics you're not sure about, just post below and say, hey Dan, can you explain again why WordPress is going to be better than Squarespace? Or just drop it below and I'll give you some more details. But again, we'll sort of gloss over it a little bit. So the basic options for what you use to build your site, the one I would recommend is WordPress. So WordPress fuels or runs the vast majority of the internet. So most of the websites you see are WordPress sites. And WordPress is basically just a platform that allows you to build a website in a certain way. Just like Microsoft Word or Google Docs are word processing pieces of software, you can sort of think of WordPress as the same thing, but for building a website. So WordPress is what I would recommend. You then have a bunch of options, which are basically called what you see is what you get. WYSIWYG, it's often abbreviated to. And what you see is what you get is basically very much a drag and drop. If you want a block of text here, hey Josh, thanks for joining in. If you want a block of text here, drag a block of text there, type it in, and what you see on the screen is what you get. Of course, this is very simple, but you do lose a lot of the functionality that you would get with a WordPress site. So probably the two common ones that you guys may have used. Hey Errol, thanks for joining us. The two common ones would be Squarespace or Wix, those sort of pieces of software. They can be an effective way to get an online presence, but they do have a lot of limitations. So it would be worth you spending 3 to 5 hours to learn how WordPress works. Long term, I think it's going to deliver you a much better product. So once you've decided on which of those, you need to basically register a domain name. So this is where you would register, in my case, rangeomotion.net.au. So I then own that. So you choose what your domain name is going to be, keep it nice and short and simple. If you want to have .au on the end, you will need to have an ABN, an Australian business number. A cool little tip as well, obviously .au is an Australian suffix. .co is Colombia, but a lot of people use it as company. So for example, I also own a domain name rangeomotion.co, and it costs you about $14.95 a year to register a domain name, so it's not expensive. So register all the domain names around yours as well, and you can then link one to the other just so there's no confusion there. So yeah, it's about $15 a year to register your domain name. You'll also need hosting, so think of that as this is the place, this is sort of the physical location or the company where your website lives. It needs to be hosted somewhere. All of that data needs to be sitting on servers somewhere. That's going to be about $8.95, $9 a month, I believe is what I pay. I would recommend you do this through ventraip.com.au, ventraip.com.au. If you just want to quickly jump on now and register your domain name, probably the easiest way to do that is to go to godaddy.com.au, godaddy.com.au. Jump on, you can do a search, it will let you know what's available, and you can purchase your domain name there. And you can actually, I believe, organize hosting through those guys as well. But like I said, I use ventureip.com.au. So once you've done that, you've been through that process, they'll send you some emails, you can sort of follow their instructions, they're pretty self-explanatory. You'll then want to install WordPress. So you have this site or this hosting, you want to install WordPress, which you can basically do, just Google how to install WordPress. And then you need to upload a theme. So a theme is basically, it's the actual structure whereby you can say, right, I want a block of text here, a video, some text next to it, a form. What I would highly recommend here is a theme called Divi. So a Divi, D-I-V-I, just again do a Google search for Divi. If you jump on there, you can download that. There'll be a file that you can actually download from the Divi website. Again, it won't cost you much. And you basically take that file, they'll give you instructions, you upload that to your WordPress site, and that becomes how you edit and create your website there. So it's both a theme basically being a layout, and it's a framework. So what you can then do, if you're feeling experimental, you can then build your own website by saying, I want a block of text, I want the image, I want a video, I want a form, I want testimonials. What you can do, if you want a real quick, easy, cheap and dirty way to build a website that looks really good, you can basically use a Divi template. So what you can do, I think there are a couple of thousand templates there. So you can search gym or personal trainer. So an example, guys, if you want to have a look at what sort of result you can get from using one of these Divi templates, in preparation for this, I basically in 2 days built a website from the ground up, going through all this process so I could make sure I had the order right for you guys. I actually built a website for my dad, who's a marriage celebrant. If you head to davecelebrant.com.au, you can basically see an example of what you can build very easily in a couple of hours, really, using one of these Divi templates. So that would be my recommendation. Of course, you need to make sure this is mobile friendly. We have about 20,000 monthly views on the Range of Motion website. 60% of those are mobile, so make sure your site is mobile friendly. If you use one of these templates, they will be mobile friendly, so that's pretty simple. From there, the Facebook pixel. You basically need to go to the business page, your business Facebook page, which is just like your normal Facebook URL for your business, but it'll be business.facebook.com/Range of Motion, for example. So you want to go to that, follow the instructions to get your Facebook pixel, Google search it if you don't know how to do that, or hit me up in questions below, in comments below, and I'll send you some info on how to do that. What you will get from Facebook is a piece of code. A code is just, as far as we're concerned, as far as you need to know for today, a random selection of letters and numbers and squiggly lines and stuff. You take that piece of code, you copy that, and you can then drop that, paste that into a footer on your website, so it'll appear on every page. Here's why this is so key. Let's say that you're interested in having me as a business mentor. So you jump onto rangeofmotion.net.au/mentoring to look at the business mentoring work we do. What happens when you do that is Facebook makes a little note that, John came and visited this page. Now, I can't see John's details. I don't know that John came. Facebook stores that somewhere invisible that I can't see it. I can then go into Facebook advertising and I can say, okay, Facebook, Mr. Zuckerberg, can you send this advert that I'm creating? I want it to be shown to anyone who has visited this site, rangeofmotion.net.au/mentoring. Anyone who's visited that, they're all in this bucket, Facebook will show them this ad. Now, this is why when you're looking for a new pair of yoga pants, you do searches on Google, you have a look at Lululemon, and suddenly you start seeing Lulu ads popping up all over your Facebook feed. Not something I've personally experienced, not wearing yoga pants. I prefer to do my yoga naked. So this is how people retarget you. You search for something and suddenly it's popping up on Facebook and you think the man is watching you. It's not. You've activated someone's Facebook pixel. So make sure that Facebook pixel is installed on your website. Super, super important. Hey Amy, thanks for joining us. Hey Dom, thanks for tuning in. So that's basically what you need to do to build a site in terms of all the background work. Let's talk about the structure of the site itself. let's talk about what happens when someone actually opens up that site on their phone, opens up the site on their laptop. What are they going to be seeing? So you have one of two options. The first option is a little more complex for a more complex business. The second option, very simple for a more simple business. Let's use this analogy. You go to a restaurant. You have a table booked, but obviously not having been to this restaurant before, you don't know where your table is, and you need an usher to help you to that table. Yes, sir, yes, madam, you're on table number 12. So you come in, yep, my name's Dan Williams, got a reservation for 2. Come through this way, let's go to table 12. You need an usher to take you to that table because you don't know where it is. However, if you were to turn up at a restaurant and there was only one table there, you don't need an usher because there's only one table for you to sit at. How does this relate to a website for a health or fitness business? Well, if you have multiple services that you offer, you need an usher to take people to different places on your website for the service that's going to be applicable to them. So this is an exercise that I was doing with Dan Meaden from Mobius Health and Performance, who's one of my business mentoring clients this week. He has 4 very distinct avatars. So he's an exercise physiologist. So he has an avatar which is very much focused on exercise rehab, NDIS, care plans, GP referrals. So he wants to take those people to a very specific site on his website, a very specific page on his website, where the language that he uses is specific, maybe to an older person, someone suffering from a chronic disease. He also has more of a high performance squad. And these are, people in their 20s who want a hardcore workout and who want to be lying in a puddle of blood and sweat at the end of a session. He's going to use a very different language. He's going to use very different imagery for those people than he would for 75-year-old Glynis who's looking to improve her bone mineral density. So what we're designing for him on his website is this usher. He lands there on the website and there will be 4 different sections. How can we help you? Up the top. Are you an older person looking for exercise rehabilitation? This isn't the exact wording, but you get the idea. Are you looking to smash yourself with a hard workout? Again, not the exact wording, obviously. So these 4 different areas. That's all that's on that page. How can we help you? Boom, 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 boom. A great line that Seth Godin uses, who's one of the sort of gurus of marketing. His new book, This Is Marketing, is exceptional, by the way, if you want to look that up. This Is Marketing by Seth Godin. One of the things that he says is, a line that you can use with people is, are you the sort of person who? So something that we use at Range of Motion is, are you the sort of person who needs an individualized approach to your health and fitness? Hi Fran, thanks for tuning in. So this is a phrase that you can use. You can paraphrase that for these 4 sections to then take people to what we would call the primary pages on your website. So this is the more simple version. Let's say your business just offers online personal training or just offers a 24/7 gym membership. You don't need to usher and distribute people around to different places on your site. They need to land on your website and all the information is there ready to go so they don't have to click around looking for you. So for a more simple website, this is where you would start. And I'd call this a primary page. And the primary page is important because it needs to give them all the information they know to reach out and contact you, because in the end, other than obviously building reputation, activating the Facebook pixel, getting them to contact you, they then become a lead, they enter your client lifecycle or your client journey. If you don't have one, comment below and say, Dan, send me information on designing a client journey, and I'll send that through to you. Those are the purposes. So you're trying to get them to contact you. With these primary pages, so this is when someone first comes in, yep, I want to exercise with you. Primary page, when they land there, you need to be extremely mindful of what's happening above the fold. What does that mean? Well, take yourself back to like mid-1920s Depression era in New York, and you're walking through Central Park. You don't have a lot of money in your pocket, but you look at a newspaper stand to see if there's anything there that interests you. The newspaper is folded in half, and there's a headline, an image, maybe some text. What you can see when that paper is folded in half is referred to as above the fold. These are things that when you're walking past, it will either sell you on buying this paper or not. When you then unfold the paper, everything below the fold is not as important as a marketing strategy. That's more content that's going to be educational or informational in some sort of way. Your website's exactly the same. So when people jump on your site, and I'll give you an example here on the Range of Motion site. When people jump on your site, so again, this is our sort of usher This is our usher page to the different areas of the business. As soon as they decide that they want to go to the exercise page, they're being ushered off to that. You can see that what's above the fold, as soon as this page loads, immediately, this is what they see. Let me just get rid of that pop-up. This is what they see. This is above the fold. There's a video that talks about what we do. There's a headline, a very quick description of who we help, which we'll talk about more in a moment, and a way for them to contact us. Hey Cherie, thanks for joining in. So that's above the fold. And what is above the fold is vital on your website, because just like the newspaper in Depression era New York, you will not buy that paper, you will not scroll down that website, excuse me, unless it's something that is of interest, solving the problems of your avatar, your target avatar. So here's what I want you to put above the fold when they first land there. There's going to be some sort of image or video, as you saw on the Range of Motion website here. This is our sort of what is Range of Motion video with a bunch of testimonials and other stuff. So there will be something like that, either an image of your avatar or a video of your avatar. You don't want an image of some ripped guy with a six-pack smashing himself with sweat pouring off him on an air bike if you're targeting 75-year-old Glynis with low bone mineral density. A picture of your avatar smiling, overcoming the issues that she is going to be facing, that your potential clients are facing. Next to that, you need to have some text. This text is not about what you do. This is important. The days of about us, this is what we do sites on your webpage are over. It needs to be about your client. This is something I mentioned when I was doing some website analyses within this group a little while ago, talking about this fact that if everyone changed the About Me page on your website menu to About You, man, it would solve so many problems, because suddenly it becomes client-centric, client-focused, problem-focused, and solution to problem-focused, rather than this is me, this is how I look in a sports bra, this is what I do, these are all the courses I've done. People don't care about that. They care about the experience and the results that you're getting them. Ultimately, they care about you solving their problems, removing some sort of hardship that they are facing. So you want to talk about who you help. Are you the sort of person who needs an individualized approach to exercise? And you need to talk about what you help them with. So what it is that you can help someone do, what the pain point is that you can remove for them. You don't need to talk about, we have this many classes and this many pieces of pin-loaded equipment. They do not care. They don't really care how it is that you get them the results, as long as you take away the pain that they are facing. Then you want to have below that a way for them to contact you, below that to the side of that. So again, you can see down the bottom there in the blue bar, this is a way for them to contact us. So the fields that I've got here, name, email address, phone number, how can we help you? And I've also just added in recently, how did you hear about us? Just because I do ask people this, but I just wanted a more definite way of tracking exactly where people come from. We do this as well through Google, through analytics, through our Facebook ads as well. But sometimes you sort of question some of the data you get from Google. It's sometimes not super accurate in terms of client acquisition sources. So I just like to know how people hear about us. So that's the stuff that I've got there. Now, those of you who use something like Lead Pages or some sort of ClickFunnels, some sort of landing page software, that's pretty similar to what you would see there. So what you've got above the fold is pretty similar. And that's sort of how I've designed this is, if someone does nothing but goes here, that's a pretty good brochure about how Range of Motion helps people, and it's a way for people to get in touch. So that's what we want to see above the fold. And again, you can see this is the very top of the page here. So when it loads, this is exactly what they see. This is pushed down a little bit when they jump on, when they're viewing something on their phone, but it's still as close to the top of the page as we can get. So that's what you want to have above the fold. Then below that, again, if there's a bit of complexity to what you do, what I would recommend is having another sort of mini usher like we talked about before. So you'll see as we scroll down here, you have a bunch of icons. Sorry, I'm not doing this as a screen share, but this sort of works pretty well. So there's a bunch of icons there. And those icons can then usher people to certain pages in the website, certain places in the website. So for example, here you can see if I scroll down, this is the entire website. Whole bunch of stuff going on. But if we click on any of these icons, how does ROM work? Click on that, it'll automatically jump down to that point in the website that talks about how range of motion works. So again, they can be really good ways for people to go, okay, yeah, I want to know where these guys are, jumps to that point on the website. You don't want them having to go to the contact page, to the about page, to the services page. Try and keep them here. The more steps you're forcing someone to take, the more steps they can trip up on and exit your website. So you can have those icons there which will link to the certain sections in the page. The key things that I think you should be having below the fold, under the fold on your website: who you help, so who it is, what type of person, so your avatar, your potential client who's on your website knows that you're going to be talking to them. Hey Dewey, thanks for joining us. Hope the gym at Reno is going well. So you want to talk about who we help, you want to talk about what you help them with, aka the problems you solve, aka the pain points that you remove from them. You want to talk about how you help, and this is where you can start to say, you know, we do this through individualized one-on-one personal coaching, or we do this through our classes. And you can say in here, yeah, we run 25 classes a week, but that is not the selling point. The selling point is we do these purely as a tool to help you achieve your goals, to remove your pain points. So who you help, what you help them with, how you help, so the actual, it's sort of, this is what we do to solve your problems, and then the process. So the process here, you can see we basically have 6 steps, so people know exactly what's going on. 6 steps here. Step 1, get in touch. Step 2, we'll get straight back to you. Step 3, let's talk, where you sit down and have a chat. Step 4, get a taste, which is our complimentary one-on-one session. Step 5, learning the basics with your personal coach. Step 6, you're a ROMA, which is the sort of collective noun for someone who trains a range of motion. So they know exactly what's coming up next. Remember, this is really scary for a lot of people. You remove anxiety by making it less scary and saying, here's what we do, here's why we do it, let's hold your hand through this process. Then you of course at the bottom, and again, we've got your little contact thing up the top here for someone who wants to contact us straight away. Just bear in mind when you do that, hey Danny, thanks for joining us. Just bear in mind when you have a little form here, when you submit that, or when they submit that, it gets automatically emailed to you. So make sure you set that up when you're building this site through WordPress, again, using the Divi Builder as I've recommended. And just have in that email that's sent to you, you can have a certain amount of text in there. So when I get an email, a notification from this lead, it will say words to the effect of form submission from above the fold on rangeofmotion.net.au/exercise. So I know exactly where it's coming from. Now, scroll down the bottom of the page and there will be another web form here. And this is sort of a little bit more detail. Well, it's not really more detail, it's the same info, but this is, you know, what people perceive as a contact page. And you can see all through the website here, there are little buttons. Let me get rid of that reflection for you. I'm interested, how do I get in touch? So all these little things that you can click on after each of the sections, you know, how we help, the process, what we do, solving your problems, etc. So at any point they can click on that and you'll see the buyer clicking on that, this one here. Sounds great, let's get the ball rolling. They click on that and it automatically jumps down to a picture of my beautiful wife with the web form below that. So you'll have that down the bottom of the page. That's your sort of contact down the bottom there. Again, when they submit that, the email that you get should say words to the effect of inquiry from rangeofmotion.net.au/exercise, contact form at bottom of page. Just so I know, like, it's data, it's KPIs, as much information as I can have. I want to know the behaviors of my clients. You also do want to have a blog page on your website. This is really important because your blog, and if you write blogs, they're not necessarily just there as education, they're there as little hooks to try and get people to come to your website. So when you post blogs on social media, and if you want to learn more about content creation and that sort of stuff, let me know, and I'll post some info to you regarding that. When those blogs get posted on social media, someone clicks on them, they come to your website, they're activating that Facebook pixel we talked about, which that means you can then retarget them and show them those ads on Facebook. So you do want to have a blog page This allows you to position yourself as a thought leader, as a problem solver in the minds of your avatar, your potential clients. You solve their problems, common theme. So you do want to have a blog page where people can come, they can start to get some information on what you do. Inside that blog, you can put things like, I'll give you an example. If I'm doing a blog or a piece of content on how to build a website for fitness professionals, what I will do, which in some sort of crazy macro way is what I'm doing in video version now, what I would do in that piece of content is say, one of the main strategies that we use with Range of Motion Business Mentoring clients, and of course Range of Motion Business Mentoring clients will be hyperlinked to a page on our website about Range of Motion Business Mentoring. So as people read that, it's not salesy, it's not click here to become a mentoring client now. It's not salesy, it just allows them to jump there, activate the pixel, they'll get some information on that page, and you can then retarget them with your Facebook advertising after that. So have that blog page on there as well. That will be on a separate page. That's not as part of that long scroll down the main primary page there. That's pretty much it in terms of the site structure. Last thing I want to touch on, guys, just a quick one, Google Ads. So we've talked a little bit about Facebook ads and how they integrate with your website. Google Ads, formerly called AdWords, last couple of years it's been called Google Ads. This is not something that you need help with from an outside company, nor is Facebook advertising. Again, I can provide you all the information you need on that below with some extra free resources that we offer on this stuff. So if you're struggling with Google Ads, let me know below, just send me info on Google Ads or whatever, and I'll post you some stuff there. Basically, the SEO, the search engine optimization we've talked about, which remember is just making things easy for your potential clients, for your avatar, that's organic. So people search in Google, and because you have built a great website and you're solving their problems, you pop up on their Google search right up the top. But you do also get paid search results up the top, and this is paid Google Ads. So I've been running our recent lot of Google Ads for about 5 days now, and just to give you some idea of how that's gone. So we're spending $3 a day on this. This is for our facility, so not the other sort of parts of the business, not our mentoring, our online coaching, our nutrition stuff. This is just purely the facility. So we've had in the last 5 days, almost just over 6,000 impressions, just under $30, and 37 clicks. So 37 people have visited our website because they've done some sort of Google search, and we've popped up the top in that sort of highlighted box there. So really good tool, again, because people do a Google search, they come to our website, they learn about what we do, they activate the Facebook pixel, we then retarget them with some sort of retargeting Facebook ad because they're already a little bit aware of what we do, so they're a bit further down that level of awareness, so it's a warmer lead, and you can see how all these pieces sort of come together. And I think that's a good place to wind this up and wrap this up with a summary that your website is not going to build you a successful business, nor will amazing Instagram stories or amazing word of mouth and a referral reward program, nor will having your website perfect, having an amazing client experience, being the best at something. None of these will optimize the success of your business. They all will. So if you just nail one of these areas and do it beautifully, yes, it's going to help, but you need to have all of these different pieces of the puzzle. I posted, this is a few months ago now, our client acquisition report from last year, which is where we track where all of our clients have come from. And from memory, there were 37 different lead sources we had at Range of Motion. The website form is one of those 37. So to maximize the success of your business and the leads that you have coming in, make sure that you are doing all these things. It's better to do all these things 50% good than to have the best website in the world, but everything else be a 0 out of 10. Guys, I hope this has been of some use to you. Like I said, I did gloss over some of these areas, so if there is anything in particular you would like some more information on, please let me know in comments. Those of you who are watching this live, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate you giving up half an hour of your time on a Friday morning. Those of you who are not, please feel free to post any comments below. Guys, if you need any help with your business, rangeofmotion.net.au/mentoring, or if you have any questions about what we do, shoot me a private message. Thanks, guys. I hope this has been valuable. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you next time. See ya.